Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Folge 15 von If My Heart Had Wings. In der letzten Folge sind Kotori, AGH und Aoi an einem Samstag zur Club Activities in die Schule gegangen und haben sich erstmal Amane vorgestellt, weil die deren Namen nicht wusste. Dann haben sie ein bisschen darüber gesprochen, was sie eigentlich im Club machen können. Und unter anderem wurde beschlossen, dass Aoi der Pilot wird. Davon abgesehen haben sie im Dorm dann noch Besuch von Kotoris Schwester bekommen, die dort mit ihnen übernachtet. Und jetzt machen wir am nächsten Montag weiter. Even though it's summer, don't sleep with your stomach exposed, okay? Make sure you brush your teeth and text me three times a day. I've got it already. Minase-san? Yes? Please take good care of Kotori-chan. Sure, leave it to me. I thought I sounded a little arrogant, but I answered as the dorm mother and as Kotori's friend. See you, Kotori-chan. If anything happens, call me right away. Worried about her sister until the end, Hibari-san got in the car and left. Today was Monday, the start of a new week. It looked like she was going straight to work. She came here in her own car, and apparently her workplace and her house were about an hour away. Hibari stayed for 2 nights, so I'm worn out. Isn't she a kind sister? Yes, I'll give her that. I just wish she kept it in moderation and knew when to leave me alone. It seems that she would like to be more independent from her older sister. Kann ein bisschen relaten. Okay then, shall we go to school now? And that's how it is. To sum it up, in this case, I was restless throughout the whole 6th class of the day. When this finishes, school will end for the day. Yeah. In other words, it will be time for club activities. Yeah. Yesterday was Sunday, so we had a break from the club. Okay. I was told that my piloting training will start today, so I couldn't help but anxiously look forward to it. This will be covered by the end of term test, so make sure to note it down. The teacher's leisurely way of speaking made me feel even more impatient. While I was staring at the clock hung on the classroom wall, I was waiting for this very moment. It rang! The bell rang! Okay, that's all for today. The things we studied today will be on the end of term test, so make sure to review them later. Yeah, you're repeating yourself. The teacher repeated the last bit of information. Then the class president finally told us to stand and bow. Goodbye, Sensei. Yeah, don't run in the hallway. When I went out to the hallway, Kotori was already standing by outside since her seat is near the door. Slow! What could I do? My seat is next to the window. Okay, let's go. Hold on, Ageha's not here yet. We peeked into the classroom. Ageha was surrounded by several girls talking with them about something. That's why this is... Apparently they didn't understand something from the last lesson and they asked her about it. They make a They make a big deal about grades at this school. If you fail any subjects, it's possible that you'd have to repeat the year. It's not like Ageha's grades were anything special, but in certain specialized subjects, she was usually near the top of the rankings. Ich glaube, ich habe in meiner ganzen Schulzeit nie jemanden gesehen, der einfach nur in einem einzigen Fach richtig gut ist. Oder sagen wir in 2, 3 Fächern richtig gut ist. Wobei, okay, ja, doch, maybe. Okay, never mind. That's why her friends were going to her for help just before the end of term exams. Hey, Ageha! Aoi, hang on, I'll be finished soon. Ageha waved through a gap in the wall of girls surrounding her. Hey, Aoi-kun. She said it will take just a little longer. I see. Well then, let's go ahead. But she asked us to wait for her. We'll see her there anyway, so isn't it fine? Oof! Decisions! Time to save. Hier möchte man eventuell zurückkommen. She said she'd be finished soon, so I'll wait here. I see. Well then, I'm going on ahead. Kotori said that while pouting for some reason and went off without me. Did she get angry? I'm not sure. Well, that's nothing out of the ordinary. True? Sorry for the wait. Huh? Where's Habane-san? She went on ahead. I see. Hey, Aoi. Yeah? About Habane-san. What does she think of me? Uttered reflexively. As I thought, she really hates me? I don't think that's it. She replies when you greet her. Can see you're setting the bar low. In Kotori's case, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't do that if she hated someone. But she's super friendly with you, right? Is that so? After all, isn't she the one you get along with best? Well, we live in the same dorm. Ryoko lives at the Flying Fish Manor too, but you hardly speak to her at school. Wer war Ryoko? War das die große, ältere, die nicht Kanako ist? Diese Namen, Mann, ey. Die habe ich in den letzten 4 Folgen gefühlt nicht mehr gesehen. Ryoko-san was one of the boarders and in the same year as us. She was also Ageha's friend. Okay, never mind, dann war sie das nicht. War das die Kleine, die immer mit dem Rücken zum Bild steht? But I hardly ever spoke to her at school. See? Well, maybe you have a point. But what is this all of a sudden? Nothing, just saying. Are you angry about it? Maybe. Is this jealousy or something? What? Well, you and I are childhood friends and have been close ever since we were kids. I think of you as one of my best friends. When we were kids, Ageha was my very best friend. Even if there was a 5-year gap, that shouldn't have changed. But apparently in Ageha's eyes, Kotori had become my closest friend recently. Yeah. Okay. Sure, we do spend a lot of time together. I thought that Ageha might be feeling jealous because of this. You're so full of it. Is what I wanted to say, but maybe you have a point? It feels like Habane-san has stolen you away from me. She said miserably. That's not really how I see it. I still think of it. Listen. It's hard. Verdammt. That's not really how I see it. I still think of you as my very best friend. I'll help you whenever you're in trouble, just like you always have for me. Have a bit more faith in me. Ageha's expression seemed to ask, just when did we start talking about something like this? What are you talking about? Geez, you're as passionate as always. Yep, that cheered me up. I see. That's good to hear. But when you say I'm jealous, you might be right. I'm jealous of you. Me? My plan to win Habane-san over failed, but you became friends with her easily. Maybe I like charm. Yeah, sometimes. Oh, you have the kind of charm that attracts people. Just kidding. Okay. Ich meine, er ist der MC, also... Obviously. Plot enforced. What the hell? What should I do to get along with Habane-san better? Ageha folded her arms above her head and sighed. How are we going to do the flight training? Just... go and... Ja, einfach reinschmeißen ins kalte Wasser. Kein Problem. I asked Amane-senpai once all of the second years had gathered. Senpai had been tampering with a bundle of tangled PC cables for a while. Windows! Flight! Simulator! We could only see the top of her head from the other side of the desk. By flying. Flying? I guessed it won't be anything like doing weight training to build basic physical strength, but we still can't fly, can we? She kept me thinking of flying using those broken wings. Why do you think she's playing with a computer, dude? Could you move that stuff lying alongside the wall out of the way? As requested, we tied it up, things piled up against the garage wall. Whoa, there's a pile of stuff here. I don't even know what some of those things are. Many strange boxes and antique parts had been left here before Amane-senpai and us came to this garage. What the... Why is there a sword and spear in a place like this? Nice. There's a nunchaku over here. There's a broken toy gun too. Wow, very special. Of course the sword and the spear were just well-made replicas. Disappointing. As for the other things, if I had bought them, then after returning home I would think, why the hell did I buy this? And would definitely regret the purchase. There were many things that looked like typical souvenirs from a field trip. I could easily tell that the members from long ago were using this garage as their own private place. Finished! Alright, now turn off the lights. When the lights were turned off, the inside of the garage became pitch black. Amane-senpai was operating some kind of machine. Do you mean a computer? A screen was then projected on... okay. A screen was then projected on the wall where all that stuff was piled up before. It's a projector! It's like a cinema. Are we going to watch an instructional video? No. I couldn't come over here. I sat on the chair that Amane-senpai had prepared and she gave me a computer controller. What are we going to do? Like I said, you're going to fly. This is a flight simulator. Flight simulator? I've heard of those, but I don't know how they work exactly. It's like a computer game. It lets you experience flight virtually. Even if you don't actually fly, you can learn the controls and get the feel of flying a glider to some extent. I don't quite get it, but it sounds pretty good. Is this a commercial one? No, I made it myself. What the hell? Like, hardware and programming and what? Das ist Projekt mindestens so groß wie der Glider. It has the topography of Kazigauda. It's a simulator specifically for our glider. Okay. With Amane-senpai's input, the image had changed. Kazigauda, the town we were all familiar with, was being shown from the sky, projected onto the wall. Ich muss sagen, mittlerweile finde ich es ein bisschen schade, wie sie das Projekt, was sie da so machen, ist spannend. Aber sie stellen es einfacher dar, als es ist. Ich meine, erstmal so einen Glider bauen für einen Schüler fast unmöglich. Allein schon, weil, wie kriegst du die Materialien, wie baust du die entsprechend und wie setzt du das zusammen? Da brauchst du halt auch bestimmte Maschinen teilweise. Und dann so, ja, ich habe eben einen Flight Simulator gebastelt. Okay. It was shown in pretty CG on the level of RPG cutscenes on the latest consoles. She really is amazing. Agea mumbled while looking at the projected screen. This was updated with the latest data yesterday. You should be able to get a very realistic sense of flying. Okay. The display of Amane-senpai's amazing work has raised my fighting spirit. Well then, let's begin. A glider modeled in CG appeared on the screen. Before you learn the controls, I'll explain how the glider moves. The glider movements can be explained as rotation on 3 axes, longitudinal, lateral and vertical. You know, not all movement is rotation? Ach so, ja, weil bewegt sich die ganze Zeit vorwärts. Ja, I'm sorry. Okay. First it's rolling. The longitudinal axis that ran along the length of the fuselage and the movement based on rotation on that axis were displayed on the screen. This movement is called rolling. Next is pitching. Moment. Passiert Richtungsänderung und nicht nur durch Rolling im Endeffekt? Nee, naja, das macht ja auch keinen Sinn. This time the lateral axis that went along the fuselage. Spricht man das überhaupt so aus? Fuselage? Das hört sich dumm an, aber das Wort sieht auch dumm aus. That went along the fuselage horizontally and the movement based on rotation on this axis was shown. This movement raises and lowers the nose and is known as pitching. Finally, there's yawing. And now the vertical axis that went through the center of the fuselage perpendicularly, and the movement based on rotation along this axis were displayed. This movement that turns the nose left and right is yawing. These are the three basic movements of the glider. Do you understand? Yes, more or less. Wenn dir das schon zu hart ist, dann, well, no matter how complex the maneuvers of the glider may seem, they are all combinations of these three movements. So it's enough for a pilot to know how to handle these three movements. I see. So the basics are quite simple. Kotori and Ageha were listening to that conversation and nodding along. With that in mind, let's try actually operating it. After Amane-senpai chose a new mode, the screen changed again. Mit links, rechts, oben, unten und ja, never mind. Ich musste gerade Dinge visualisieren. The sky and the horizon were projected across the whole wall. Is this the view from the cockpit? Yes, that's right. Wow, so this is what it looks like? The glider was already in flight, but because I was used to video games, it felt incredibly slow. It didn't really feel like it was moving forward at all. Wenn du den Himmel siehst. Except for takeoff, landing and some other special cases, there are two things you need to control. The control stick and the rudder pedals. I've seen the cockpit many times, so I knew about these. The control stick is the stick that comes out from the floor between the pilot's feet. I've seen movies with pilots flying fighter planes. They were holding control sticks. It had a button and pressing it launched missiles. Of course the glider doesn't have anything like that. It's like the steering wheel of a car. Well, one more axis, but okay. There's a rudder pedal on both the left and right side. They can be operated by stepping on them with your feet. The controller emulates both of these. The left analog stick is the control stick. The L and R buttons are the rudder pedals. Ich war confused über was für ein Controller sie redet, okay. The left analog stick is the controller, okay, ja. Die gehen da echt detailliert durch, also relativ dafür, dass du als User halt natürlich, als Leser mit den ganzen Instructions da wenig viel anfangen kannst, weil du sie nicht brauchst. I tried the analog stick and the L and R buttons on the gamepad. Yeah. With a small delay, the field of vision on the screen abruptly moved. Whoa! If you get careless, it will stall and crash, so watch out. Okay. First is the control stick. This controls two of the three movements that I explained just now, rolling and pitching. What the fuck? Der Control Stick macht Rolling? Anstatt Yawing? Was zur Hölle? Das habe ich mir anders vorgestellt. Das muss ja mega weird sein. Ich meine, normalerweise... Ja, okay. Nicht, dass ich viele Flight Simulators gespielt habe. Also eigentlich gar keine. Ich habe nur World of Warplanes gespielt. If you move it left and right, the fuselage will roll in that direction. I leaned the control stick slowly to the left. This is weird. The aircraft responded with a small delay. The horizon on the screen leaned to the right. What makes the aircraft lean when you move the control stick? Good question. That is because the control stick controls the ailerons, I guess? Ailerons? When Kotori heard that what the hell? When Kotori heard that unfamiliar word, a question mark appeared above her head. Ailerons are attached to the main wings. They are on the outer rear edge. If you move the control stick left, then the left wing's aileron is raised and the right wing's aileron is lowered. When that happens, the lift is reduced on the left wing and increased on the right wing. The aircraft then banks, which is turning by leaning. Turning by leaning, huh? It's similar to a bicycle. A bicycle has a handlebar, but that doesn't mean you turn by moving it left and right. You turn by tilting the frame. Ja, ne? Das ist auch so eine Sache. Gefühlt, ich muss den Handlebar eigentlich auch nur bewegen, wenn ich so richtig scharfe Drehungen mache. Und sonst eigentlich lehne ich mich nur zur Seite gefühlt. Deshalb kann man halt auch freihändig fahren. That's very weird. There's one more movement that can be made using the control stick, which is pitching. In short, pitching is moving the nose up or down. If you pull the control stick back, the nose goes up, and pushing it forward makes it go down. Oh god, inverted axis! I tried pushing the control stick forward, wobei aus der Cockpit-View geht das sogar, denke ich. Na egal. I tried pushing the control stick forward. Oh! The image moved and the amount of ground visible on the screen had increased. The aircraft pointed downwards and I got the impression that it was flying faster. When you point the nose down, the aircraft descends, but its speed also increases. I see. I got the image of it slipping down in the air. This time I tried pulling the control stick back. The image moved, now displaying nothing but the sky. I couldn't see the horizon anymore. I felt that it was still flying, but I noticed the speed was decreasing. How is this controlled? Also with those ailerons? No, it's different. We did experiments with paper airplanes before, right? The thing that controls the up and down movements of the aircraft is... When Kotori was playing around with the wings of the paper airplane, she made one do a beautiful loop-the-loop. Oh, the horizontal tailplane! Amane-senpai nodded with approbation. Ich weiß nicht, wie lange es her ist, dass ich dieses Wort das letzte Mal gehört habe. Pitching, in other words, the up and down movements, is controlled with the elevator that is attached to the horizontal stabilizer. This time it was a familiar word. However, this was different than an elevator that goes up and down in buildings. Generally, raising the nose increases lift. In other words, the aircraft will climb. However, if you raise the nose too much, it will lose lift instead. The airflow won't be able to move along the wing surface anymore, and the flow separation will occur. This phenomenon is known as stall. I don't think I need to explain what happens if you lose lift. The glider can't fly without lift, so it'll inevitably fall from the sky. Is there anything you can do if that happens? Yes, it's possible to recover. A stall can occur at any time, so it's necessary to get enough stall recovery practice. Okay. Hearing about the possibility of falling from the sky made me tense up a bit. When you're flying through the air, even a trivial mistake can be fatal. Shall we try falling once? Huh? Amane pulled the analog stick back hard. The nose rapidly moved upwards and then... It has passed the critical angle. It's stalling. Suddenly the gentle flight of the aircraft came to a halt. It instantly started hurtling towards the ground while the image was spinning like crazy. Nice. Game over. Game over. Well, that's what it's like. In training, stalls and spins are caused on purpose to practice recoveries. Doing this for real in mid-air is scary as hell. You think that you're going to die. If someone is afraid of heights, that really might be the case. I mean, it's probably always the case. Because the simulator was made really well, even the image alone had a powerful impact. Yeah. Amane-senpai selected the mode and we started flying once again. Next are the rudder pedals. In the simulator they were controlled with the L and R buttons. These operate the rudder, which is attached to the vertical stabilizer. If you step on the right pedal, the nose moves right. If you step on the other one, it moves left. This controls yawing. It turns the plane horizontally, but when you are turning, you are using the ailerons attached to the main wings, right? Yeah. If you only use ailerons, the glider will still face forwards. It will move slipping to the side it banks to. What does that mean? If it's still facing forward, wouldn't it mean that it will fly ahead tilted? Amane-senpai nodded. By operating the rudder at the same time, you can rotate the nose towards the direction you want to turn. Okay. Like the handlebars on a bicycle? Honestly, don't understand. While leaning the bike, you turn the handlebars in that direction, otherwise you won't be able to turn well. Using bicycles as an example, leaning the bike left or right, leaning the bike, goddammit, left or right is like the ailerons, and the handlebars is like the rudder. I see. When you want to turn, both the ailerons and the rudder are necessary. That's right. However, that alone still isn't enough. When turning, leaning the aircraft decreases the lift, so it will drop down quite a lot. To keep as much altitude as possible when turning, you have to pull the control stick slightly backwards while moving it horizontally. Now it's getting complicated. When you're turning, you have to use all of these simultaneously? What to use and how seemed quite intuitive. Well, that's all. These are the only controls you need when flying. Okay. After ending her explanation, Senpai turned on the lights. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Naja, also das Turning war gerade schon ein bisschen, well. Yeah, it is. When I heard unfamiliar words like aileron and rudder, it sounded complicated. However, actually doing it was quite simple. Yeah, you sure about that, buddy? Moving the control stick in all directions and stepping on the left and right pedals. That's all there was to it. As long as you don't try any aerial acrobatics, there are almost no difficult controls. The ability to find the wind is what you need to fly the glider. Find the wind? Where and what kind of wind is blowing, where the ascending air currents are. Finding those determines whether you can fly it well or not. So you mean things like knowledge, experience, and intuition? Something like that. To learn how to read the instruments, you first have to get used to them. Next, try practicing using this computer and the projected screen. Got it. I sat down in front of the PC and started practicing immediately. Yeah, that got late. Club activities had finished and we were on the way home. Whew. Ageha was fanning her chest with her sweaty uniform, and it happened to catch my eyes. What? Oh, what are you looking at? She sensed my gaze and asked cheerfully. Why did you try acting a little more feminine? I can't help it, my chest is the sweatiest place. Isn't that feminine? I don't know. And she started fanning herself again, without a care in the world, as if she wanted to show me. Ooh, okay. Uh-huh. The air conditioning in the garage is pretty weak, isn't it? My butt got really hot. This time Kotori was wriggling her backside. Okay. Oh, these two. It's spacious and the ceiling offers no heat insulation. It was like a prefabricated building. There was no attic and the heat from the sun transferred directly to the inside. Even if we turned on the air conditioning, its effectiveness was halved. It's better than at the robotics club though. There are a lot of people there, so it gets really humid from the sweat. Kotori made a disgusted face when she heard Ageha's description. Alright, I'm going this way. When we approached the usual crossroads, Ageha turned into a different street than us. See ya! Hey, Ageha. Wanna get some ice cream from the convenience store? Yeah, sure, but why all of a sudden? You two were saying how hot it is, so I suddenly felt like eating some. Do you wanna eat one too, Kotori? Huh? Well, yeah. Kotori answered while watching Ageha. Okay. Then, let's go. I started walking ahead. In the convenience store parking lot, we bit into the ice cream that we had bought. Hanging out in front of the convenience store was one of the privileges of being a high school student. Ah, okay. Ageha got watermelon flavored ice cream on a stick, Kotori got chocolate chip in a cup, and I chose vanilla ice cream wafers. You prefer the ones sold in cups, Habanesa? Ice cream on a stick melts halfway through, and it makes your hands sticky, so I don't like it. Seems like everyone had their own preferences when it came to ice cream. Hey, Aoi, how was the simulator? I still didn't get the hang of it. It was pretty tricky. Which part was difficult? How should I call it? Inconvenient handling? When I want to do something, I can't do it right away. It would probably be easier to handle if I could feel its movements and speed. The aileron, rudder, and elevator don't work unless they catch some wind, right? Exactly. Those control the position of the aircraft by transmitting the force of the wind to the fuselage. Naturally, when the wind is strong, small movements of the controls can have a big effect and vice versa. However, the glider doesn't have an engine. You can't easily speed up or slow down. If you do one thing, it affects everything else. I guess that's what makes it difficult. Understanding the present situation is not enough. You have to think about what will happen next and act accordingly. It means that this vehicle requires quite a bit of experience after all. Das Schöne daran ist ja, dass man das meiste einfach lernt durch weiter rumspielen damit. Did it feel good to fly it? Well, to be honest, the simulator didn't feel that good at all. You were watching the screen, right? Yeah, how should I say this? It looked really frustrating. Compared to 3D shooting games, it was nowhere near as fun. Yeah, that's true. Actually, flying it must be a completely different thing, though. I think so. I can imagine that somehow. How it would feel to really soar through the sky in it. Actually, I can't. Only vaguely, though. You're lucky. I want to try flying too. Why don't you give the simulator a try? It was possible to control everything with your hands. No, thanks. Now is the time for you to do it, Aoi-kun. Looks like she decided to be patient for now. Ageha and I exchanged glances spontaneously. Well then, let's hurry up and build the wings so that we can actually fly it. Yeah. As soon as I'll be able to fly myself, I could give Kotori a ride. I might be a little hasty, but having an objective will make me try harder. I didn't win anything. Too bad. Ageha tossed the stick of her finished ice cream into the trash can. I finished eating too, so I also got rid of the wrapper from my ice cream sandwich. Kotori was still eating. She was hurriedly shoveling her chocolate chip ice cream. It wasn't as bad as Amane-senpai, but her way of eating also slightly spoiled her pretty girl image. She rushed over in a wheelchair and threw the cup into the trash can. Does she think that if she didn't hurry, we would have left her behind? While I was away from Kotori, Ageha had come up beside me. Thanks for being so considerate. What do you mean? Don't play dumb. You invited Habane-san and me here for our sakes, didn't you? I wonder, did I really? Looking at me as I feigned ignorance, Ageha smiled cheerfully. Sorry for the wait. You didn't need to rush like that. Okay, I'll be going. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see ya. Goodbye. We saw Ageha off as she waved goodbye. I pushed Kotori's wheelchair along the road back to the dormitory.